Fantastic. It is that time. We're kind of market update for November of 2023. We're about to move into the month of December. It's incredible. The last month of this year. Haley, can you tell me what is the overarching theme of kind of what happened in the month on a big picture level, national level?
Yeah, well, if you've been reading the news, it's no huge surprise that interest rates did hit their highest peak in October in, I think, 23 years. We hit the peak though, and what the Fed has been doing to curb inflation seems to be working. And so it seems like that peak is in the past and we're headed in a new direction, ideally.
Yeah, because rates have eased off. We're starting to get kind of a little bit of, we're backing off that those 8% rates and getting back down into the mid sevens.
Mhm.
So moving in the right direction. So
Yeah.
what about locally? What are we seeing? What are we seeing in San Francisco? And then we'll move on to the East Bay.
Yeah, so in San Francisco, the median single family home price rose 14% over the past 3 months. Condo prices, so that was for single families, condo prices have actually remained horizontal for the whole year. So, kind of what we anticipated would happen. It's not like condos plummeted, they kind of just stayed stable. We do expect kind of like minor price changes for the end of the year as we normally do, but it's probably going to stay pretty stable. Um, until our spring market starts. Year over year, this is interesting. Our inventory is down 21% in San Francisco.
Yeah, amazing. And that's where you get this balancing on the numbers where you don't get a huge drop in pricing because as demand and the ability for a buyer to qualify goes down, so does supply.
Right.
So they're
Yeah.
kind of,
And what I thought was incredibly like this is quite a statement. 75% of US home buyers, I'm sorry, homeowners have a mortgage rate under 4%. So three
yeah,
quarters of homeowners in the US have a sub 4% interest rate. So you can imagine it's hard for some of those people to want to move and sell and move unless they have to.
yeah, yeah, totally. And ultimately the scenario that kind of comes into play really is with those higher rates, it restricts the buying power of a buyer becomes all about how good is the quality of the property. You got to make your property shine. It's got to be kind of no deficiencies. It's got to be just perfect
Yeah.
for buyers to be like, okay, let's move on this one. If it's not, they tend to kind of sit back, be unmotivated, and wait.
Right.
So,
Which is, contributes to our, a little bit of a longer time on market for some properties that might have something that's not perfect or doesn't check every box. But it also does, kind of maintain for properties that do check every box, we still are seeing multiple offers and a competitive bidding
yeah,
situation.
yeah. So, what about the East Bay?
Yeah, the East Bay active listings declined slightly from September and October, which was a break in an 8 month upward trend in the East Bay. Year over year, very similar to San Francisco, inventory is down 20%. Notably, single family home prices rose in Alameda County 17% and 7% in Contra Costa County this year.
Amazing. So single families is where is the story. It's where it's at.
Yeah.
Condos, you might want to wait a little while unless you have a need to sell, but things will change in the spring as they always do.
Yep,
But the winner for November was definitely single families.
for sure.
Um, and then, but the good news is all of this restrictive policy increased rates, it is doing what it's supposed to do.
Mm.
It's the inflation reports in November are better. The jobs report is more stable because to control inflation, you kind of have to control the hiring of, it has to kind of cut off a little bit because we can't have wages going up when we're trying to control inflation, and all of that is moving in the right direction.
We're moving in the right direction. It's going to be really interesting to see what the spring market brings.
Yeah, I think it's kind of time to maybe take a little bit of a breather, because we're kind of moving into what should be a pretty interesting spring.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, rock and roll on to. So it'll probably be just before the end of the year when we do the next one. So looking forward to it.
We'll tune in
Cheers.
for the end of the year.